Hey everyone, C Whiskey here, and welcome to episode 3 of my quick start guide to U-Boat. Today we'll be going over crew management, so let's see if we can get these guys out of bed and get them moving. Alright, so if we hop into our crew menu up here, the first thing we'll see is the overall crew list, starting with the officers, and then all our additional sailors. And over on the right, we can see we have 5 out of 5 officers aboard and 18 out of 18 sailors. The next tab is going to be tasks. Now, there's a lot going on here, but as you can see, a lot of it's already preset for you, so it's not too complicated. First step that I personally suggest. Rest over here, we're going to drop down to 10 for everyone, because in each category, so for each officer, leaders, radio men, and engineers, we're going to want one item prioritized over sleep. And for the leaders, that's going to be calm down. So they'll calm down sailors if they've had a panic attack or something like that. For the engineers, it's going to be repair. And for the radio men, it's going to be first aid. So up to 11. Now, personally, I could care less about morale. Don't waste your time playing cards with the sailors. Instead, let's get you up on watch once you've done navigation. For our watch officer, kind of same thing. We'll drop that to an 8 and bump that up to a 6. Engineers, chief engineer is going to be in charge of the engines mainly, but we will want him to load and maintain torpedoes if he has time, so we'll set that to a 4. Our mechanic, pretty much good. We don't really need him making spare parts that often, and we'd rather have him on the engines once in a while. And then for our radio man, until we get a second officer, we're actually going to set these to 8 and 8. So he switches between them evenly. And last but not least, we don't need our bosun cooking. If we hop back to our crew list, we actually could see from the skills that Meckler was a good cook. So we'll go ahead and say, Meckler, if you have any spare time, go ahead and cook something. Now, schedule. Up top here, you'll see morning, evening, and night. Those are your general sailors on board. Don't touch that. That's absolutely fine. Now, for all your officers, as you can see, they're all set to do anything, anytime, and we definitely don't want that. So, I've personally found, that the best schedule here is going to be 5 hours on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3 hours off. 5, 1, 2, 3. So, plenty of rest, 9 hours of sleep throughout the day. So we'll do that for our leader. Next one down, engineer. And then our other two, leader and engineer, we're going to go right in between those so they overlap. That way we've always got a leader and an engineer up, awake, and on duty. Now for our radio officer, you can do a couple different things. You could set him just to either of these two schedules. You could set him to kind of an in-between. You could do 4 on, 4 off, 4 on, 4 off. I find it easier to just go ahead and set him to one of the two schedules, and then once you get a second radio officer, you can go ahead and set him to the other schedule. If you do need him in a pinch, just wake him up. Very simple. So if you remember from our crew list, we had 18 sailors aboard. So as you can see, we have 5 per squad. So I upped that to 6. So we have all our sailors working on each shift. And then I do add 1 additional sailor per leader and 2 additional sailors per mechanic. Per engineer. This is for 2 reasons. With 2 sailors helping the chief engineer, for instance, you're going to get a much greater fuel efficiency, and that's pretty much the biggest factor in how long you can stay out on missions. So that's pretty much number one reason for that. And of course, loading torpedoes needs to happen as quickly as possible. So the last thing I want to cover is how to get additional officers on board. So the first step you'd have to do, if you go to your leading officer and go to number 3 here, favors, you can see the very first one, specialized crew number 1. That's how you would get 6 officers on board. Now, of course, I would suggest that you add an additional radio officer because, of course, you have 2 of every other officer already. Now, the 3 ways you can obtain officers, once in a while, he will have officers available for recruitment here. They just cost a little extra, so you can buy them. The second way is if you just go to any of your crew members, you can actually promote them, but it does cost another reputation point. So bear that in mind. If you're going to increase your officer number to 6 by asking for that favor, and you want to promote an officer, that's going to be 2 reputation points total. And then the third way is if you go to your leading officer again here, and go to missions. Once you've done one of these first missions, once in a while, you'll see that they'll have missions with a reward that includes an additional officer. So those are the 3 ways that you can obtain officers in the game. And that pretty much covers the basics for crew management and getting everything ready. So time to get excited, because next episode we'll be going on one of these missions and sinking some ships, hopefully. So if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like me to cover. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.